and welcome back to the Entrepreneur's Inner Game podcast. I'm really, really pleased to announce our guest today. Her name is Hermina Batson, but she's better known as Nina, a really nice name, I would just like to say. She is the Financial Women Association's President and Leadership Council Chair. Nina is the Director and the Global Head of Internal Audit Regulatory Engagement at Barclays. With over 30 years of banking and finance experience, she has worked for MUFG, Goldman Sachs, BNP Paribas, and JPMorgan Chase. Nina is a recipient of Market's Choice Awards Women in Finance, Excellence in Social Responsibility Award, holds a Series 79 and 63 certifications, and received a Bachelor of Business Administration and certification in accounting, both from Hofstra University. Nina, a very warm welcome to the Entrepreneur's Inner Game podcast. I'm so excited to have you here.
Hi, Nina. It is a pleasure to be here. It truly is. And as you mentioned, I love speaking to another Nina every chance I can get. So.
Same. It's the first time I've ever interviewed a Nina, and this is such a thrill for me. So, Nina, I'd love to get straight into your success. You've had phenomenal success. You've worked at some of the most celebrated institutions. I'd love to know what role has mindset played in your success to date?
For me, thinking about every time I wanted to achieve something or when things got difficult in life, if I didn't go back to my core beliefs, my faith, my hope, love and passion for banking and finance, I'm not sure where I would have been today, in all honesty.
So what kept you going when times were tough? Because it's not easy to get to the top in any chosen field. When there are setbacks, when things don't go according to plan, how do you keep going? How do you have that resilience to pick yourself up and to keep going?
I think you hit the nail on the head. For me, it is resilience and determination, in all honesty. Family and friend support is also extremely, extremely helpful. And because I'm not at the top, I'm still on my way up that way. And you have to dare to be great. You have to get out of your comfort zone, so to speak. And in essence, just take every day saying that I can and I will do whatever it is. And that way you can deal with any imposter syndrome or anything else that is coming up because someone believed in you to give you the opportunity and it would behoove you not to prove them right and then continue to excel. So stretch yourself. And I try to stretch myself every day.
Have you suffered from imposter syndrome?
Oh, I think we all do, but yes, I have. Yes.
How do you deal with that? Because I know that's a big thing that comes up from just about everyone in life, and especially for entrepreneurs.
Yeah. As I mentioned, there's a lot of meditation, a lot of prayer that happens, but I wake up in the morning, I put both feet on the ground, and in essence, my motto is, watch out, world, here I come. And in addition to me saying that, I believe that my mission, which is something that changes often, sometimes when you have family, but my mission is to be better today than I was yesterday. That's a quote that came from John C. Maxwell that resonated with me for many years, and it's a mantra that I have. So between that, the resilience and the determination to be better than I was yesterday, watch out, world, here I come.
Wonderful. Now, I know that many of the listeners, and I know I've done this myself, we have this, we say, okay, I'm going to, really step up my game. And we have affirmations, we have mantras, and it's quite challenging to keep them in front of us. And it's easy just to let them go. We do them for a few days and then come across another difficulty or challenge, and we forget about a mantra and then step back into that struggle mode again, that survival mode. How do you keep that mantra in front of you?
It's twofold. There's the proverbial Post-it that you actually have where you can put it someplace, be it on your computer, a mirror, printing it, if you will, on 8.5 by 11, depending upon how long it is. And again, just always thinking that there is some omniscient being, in my case, God, that is there, that is directing and ordering my steps. So I have to feel that I am safe, that it is safe to be me, if you will, and that I am enough. And that by bringing my authentic self to every situation that I face every day, all day long, is sometimes one, where I need to be, even if it's challenging, and two, that I can overcome it because there's something in me that is strong enough to endure whatever challenge that I'm facing. And if it's a positive, to actually have that accountability and positive success that comes with a good day. So you got to show up and show out.
Yes, without showing up, nothing much happens. You have
Exactly.
you've got this very strong faith that you have what it takes to, overcome anything and to keep going. So can you tell us more about that, where you get that strength from, that purpose, that passion?
Part of it is deep inside of me. I can't explain it. But the other part is, I guess, it'll be my mom, my dad, and my sister. Everybody in my family is extremely religious. I'm not as much. But the upbringing that I've had that instilled in me certain traits and certain practices, resiliency, as I mentioned before, just is something that just keeps me going. And I know that they are my rock. And because of the core beliefs that I grew up with, that I still have today, that I instill in my own personal family, I just feel this sense of peace about things that are chosen for me, good, bad, or indifferent. And then, again, the positives of accolades that come out of the good.
So is this about looking for the silver lining in everything that happens?
No, for me, it's more like that crack of light that comes through the door, under the door, right? Looking at the sky, if you will, and just seeing this openness, right? Going to the water and seeing the horizon, and that it's infinite, and it's just the possibilities of what's out there, and knowing that if I take one step forward, I am part of whatever positive is going to happen in the world. That's the kind of feeling that it is for me.
Wow, that sounds very, very powerful. So it sounds to me as if you're not bound by feeling limited in any way, that you're feeling
I try to,
limitless and infinite. You're sort of tapping into that feeling.
yeah, the goal is to focus on where you are, which is difficult to do with competing priorities, and just try to be like a life learner. So if I embrace every opportunity as it comes into my purview and I use it to learn and hopefully change the world one person at a time, then I feel that my day I've accomplished something. And then I have this accountability, if you will, accomplishments journal that I keep. So instead of the honeydews and the to-dos that are still there, I take the time throughout the day, if not at the end of the day, to summarize what I actually did with my time, which makes me feel better about it, even if it doesn't necessarily match. Right? Being that contributor that you can possibly be.
I love that, the accomplishments journal. Can you tell us more about the type of thing that you would write about in there that has such a huge impact for you?
Okay, so it starts out with waking up in the morning, right? Being grateful for that and accountable for it. Meditating, as I mentioned, for a little bit. Taking time out at the beginning of every day, even if it's for a little bit for myself, something that I didn't do very often in the past. I would say that includes eating a proper breakfast, or at least preparing, right, things for the day for myself or my family. Enjoying a nice warm shower. Sounds silly, but it's important, right? Listening to music or whatever soothes my soul before you get into a hectic day. And then, if you will, that's the beginning part. Those are like the 5 things that are mandatory that have to happen every day. And most recently, I added relaxing. So the relaxation, even if it's 10 p.m. in the night, hopefully earlier, it has to be some time that you either come together with family or by yourself and just detox from the day, right? It could be watching television, could be a cup of tea, which I love to do. Again, listening to music, cooking, whatever soothes your soul that makes you unwind, you do that. And in between, with the hectic part of the regular day, I would guess that in my journal, it's going to list who I spoke to, not necessarily what I spoke about, but I've reached out to such and such. I attended this meeting. I spent an hour working on a training class. I wrote a letter to somebody, whatever the case may be, just documenting, if you will, positive, be it a give back or something that I received. I jotted it down in there. And that's it.
Great. I love it. It's taking time for yourself. It's really self-care, the highest form of self-care.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Brilliant. You talked about being in the moment and feeling grateful. And I know that these are two of the most important things we can do to, as you said, soothe our soul. How do you get into the moment? How do you stay in the moment? Because you said there's so many competing priorities and so many things looking for our attention to pull us back into the past, into the future, so we're not in the present moment. How do you stay focused in the present moment?
It's very hard. I am not going to lie. It is extremely hard to do. You're constantly being pulled. I call it multitasking. People say you can't multitask, but I'm convinced that women can. Because of the competing priorities, I would say that it allows me to stop wanting to procrastinate from doing the big ticket things that need to happen in a given day. But again, one of my mottos is something that we call Ohio, only handle it once. So if I have to focus, going back to that word, on a given project or given themed thing that I have set for a point in time or day, I set these focus times where hopefully I can get to it. And then I would concentrate on it because only want to handle it once. That doesn't mean it's not recurring. That doesn't mean that it can't happen again. But if I spend the time I feel initially to digest and do whatever it is, I'm set. I'm ready to go. So whatever happens with that same issue in the future, my foundation is very strong. It's set and I feel prepared.
I love that, OHIO. And how do you prioritize those tasks? Do you put them in your diary, in your calendar? Do you just know you're going to get to them on a particular day or time? How do you make sure that you do focus on these big rocks, if you like?
It's a mixture of all. I attend on Thursday evenings, not necessarily to call out someone's name, a session with a coach that helped us when we were in transition, regardless of the transition that you're in, but mostly job related. And Pat Lamboletti actually teaches you to do it on an Excel spreadsheet or calendarize it, if you will, where you set up focus times, you take time out for yourself throughout the day, et cetera, et cetera. I've also experienced it in just using something as simple as Evernote, where I'm setting up, if you will, the traditional to-do list, but I'm modifying the rest of it to be that accomplishments journal. So I'm jotting down and articulating what I actually got done. And then to culminate it all, my morning and my night includes Calm, right? The meditation app, if you will, that has so many other things inside. So by setting that reminder, right, it comes into my purview in the morning. It's playing nice trickling water music or whatever it is for me to wake up to. I do what I need to do. I'm putting down my grateful moments and things in that nature. And then again, when I'm closing my day off, I go out with it. So that's the sandwich effect.
Love it. I think that's wonderful. So tell me more about feeling grateful as well. How do you remember to feel grateful? How do you pull in that feeling of gratitude? And when you do, what sort of impact does that have on you?
My house is decorated with things to kind of make me feel grateful. So we have a grateful jar that was given to me by a very dear friend one Christmas. I have a grateful, if you will, like drop all change in little money glass decoration that says I'm grateful, and whatever extra change or singles, whatever you get that was gifted to you goes in the grateful jar and it stays there. That's another form of savings. And then I just always say thank you, right? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. But for everything that happens in between, be it an email or otherwise, not traditional, best regards, always, all the best per se, I actually say thank you. Thank you for your email. Thank you for reaching out to me. Thank you for getting back to me. Thank you, God, for helping me get through this. Okay, putting my feet down. Thank you for waking me up this morning. Tons and tons of thank yous. And by doing that, it allows me to feel grateful for whatever happens every minute of the day. And when I'm conflicted, to your point in question before that I may not have articulated the best answer to, Oprah Winfrey had something that resonated with me. It's not hers, but she talks about it, and it's 10-10-10. When I have competing priorities and I've put it on a list and they're all due at the same point in time, you take 10 seconds, 10 minutes, 10 hours, 10 days, 10 months, 10 weeks, whatever the case may be, and look at that particular situation and figure out what you think the outcome would be based on where it's charted. So for example, if my daughter had a soccer game and I really wanted to be there and support her, but it's your everyday traditional game and I'm stuck at work and I can't necessarily get there, I may have to skip that game, but I'm going to make sure that my diary has the big game because I can't miss it. Right? At work with competing priorities, you would put it in order of not only due date, but by the hour, sometimes by the minute. So if you feel that you're pulled right now, you have to work on something and it's urgent, when the other competing priorities get pushed back a little bit on that schedule by hopefully 15 minutes, half an hour, or the like. And yes, that may mean that there are longer days, working hours, right, to get it accomplished. But you know, again, when you fill out that accomplished journal at the end of the night, what your time was spent working on. And it makes you feel better instead of just like, oh, the whole day went by, I wasted it, and I don't know what happened, right? And we feel that often. I feel it as well. But I can look to my accomplishments journal and know that I didn't waste my time, that I didn't procrastinate, so to speak, right? That I was productive. And then when you get really tired sometimes, then you can see on particular days how it's this long versus this long, and you can take the time potentially to slow down or take the extra 15 minutes to clean, sleep, whatever it is, listen to music, whatever the case may be, so that you can breathe and then get back to focusing. Because sometimes when you go from one competing priority to another and you're tired, you can't focus, so you can't give it your best, and you can't have the best outcome. So you have to step back sometimes and do something for you or with family or something just different to clear your mind, clear the clutter, so to speak, and then come back strong.
Great. So it's making sure that you are taking time out and not just relentlessly trying to go through your to-do list, which means
correct.
That
you burn out.
Yeah, you burn out. And that's not good for you or for anyone else.
Correct.
This is really coming down to awareness, self-awareness, isn't it? Knowing how you're functioning, knowing what the state of your thinking is in that moment, whether you need to take time out, whether you're really ready for the next task or not. So it's not being robotic about it. It's really tuning in and seeing where you are and how you can get the most juice out of this moment.
And you hit the nail on the head, Nina. For me, I call it being present, right? So again, if I have set that this is the focus time for me to do such and such this hour, but I just don't have it to give, what other yearning or something is pulling me from the very, very long to-do list that I can do instead? So I swap it out, knowing that I'm going to get back to that priority at another point in time because I'm going to re-energize myself or do something else in the moment, or a couple other small things in the moment, so that I'm still feeling like I'm accomplishing something. And sometimes that means even taking a nap to rejuvenate yourself, right? But being present and just going through that feeling, and it's kind of like talking to yourself without literally doing it out loud, and paying attention to your body and your mind and your soul and your heart and everything else and your desires and your gut instincts, yada, 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 and figuring out how am I going to get through this day.
Great. I can really resonate with that. I know that when I have something in front of me and I just don't want to do it and I'm resisting doing it. And sometimes I think, okay, I could just distract myself and waste time doing something sitting at my desk, or I can get up from the desk and say, okay, not now. It's not working right now, and take my dog out for a walk, as you say, energize myself and then come back fresh rather than wasting time.
Yep.
on some distraction and then feeling, well, half an hour's gone by, I've achieved nothing. Sometimes it's better just to get up and say, do something completely different, and then come back with a fresh mindset.
Exactly. And the other key thing that you said that's also one of my little mantras is no means not now. So no doesn't mean no, it means not now. So there you go.
Yeah, that's a great mantra. Why do you think that mindset is so important for entrepreneur success? Because we've been taught, we've learned from a very young age is to do, to get things done, just doing, or in the case for some people, not doing things and then feeling really bad about it. So why do you think that the mindset is not something that we're taught about at school, but why do you think it plays such a big, vital role for entrepreneurs?
I think mindset is important because it allows somebody to believe, right? That faith, that trust we were talking about before, a desire, a gut instinct, something that makes you unique, that widget that you want to create as an entrepreneur or something that you want to provide to the world, a service or a product that makes everything better. As an entrepreneur, you have to believe, right? And when you believe in yourself, first and foremost, and then your product, right, with all the ups and downs that are going to come until it comes to fruition, as long as you have that passion, as long as you have that desire, as long as you believe, and then you have that faith and that hope that we were talking about before, it will come to light. There's also something that I think everybody should do in the mindset thing is this is when you speak out loud. Throw it out into the universe, right? Sometimes I go to the water and I just speak out loud to the universe what it is that I'm trying to accomplish, what I need to get through, what I need to just get done. And I ask for the guidance and the protection, right, in order to get whatever it is solved. Entrepreneurs need to do that as well for their success. And then in addition to that, you have to have that strong foundation and network of friends and family support, right? It doesn't have to be immediate family. You adopt people into your house all the time. But you have to have that sense of family and friendship support. That's always very helpful for you to bounce ideas off of and then help your mindset, right? Realistically, okay, this isn't something that I can accomplish, not now. But it doesn't change the fact that it's on your to-do list. And then you put it into that 10-10-10 that I was talking about before.
Yeah, that is
but
really
you gotta believe.
Great advice. That's great advice. I chat to the universe. I don't always do it out loud, but in my head, I'm chatting to the universe quite a lot during the day. And it's so soothing and comforting. It's like the wind beneath my wings.
Yeah.
And I feel I'm not doing it all on my own. There's just so much support and help out there.
Yep.
It's a really lovely feeling. And it is trusting and believing rather than feeling it. Just have to keep pushing for it, and pushing for it just keeps pushing it away. It is, I'm discovering about allowing and just trusting. You do your bit, universe does this bit, and it's all going to come together and work out. Maybe not in the way that you were thinking, but could even be better. And there's such great lessons to be learned along the way as well.
They are. And then as you get every accomplishment, to take time to reflect, right? Or that gratitude we were talking about before, even if you do it in the night as opposed to in the morning. Some people do it at different times, or do it at both. And the key thing is then to reflect and to think, right, about the opportunity and how it manifested itself when it finally showed up, right? And to your point, it may not have happened the way that we wanted to, but you say your thanks because it happened. And then you realize all the positives and negatives and how it made you stronger and prepared for it when it came. And you start to go, okay, all right. And then put those feet back down again, be prepared for what's happening next, right? Because everything happens for a reason.
Yes, it all happens. There's a big picture going on, isn't it? We don't really know what it is, but again, it's trusting that it's all happening in the perfect way at the perfect time.
Exactly.
Which can be very difficult for our ego to do.
Oh, ego's first out the door.
Yeah, kick it out the door. Best place for it. You work with...
But you can't have a hat that I had that says dare to be great or dare to be different, right? You can do that.
Yes. Yeah. Play big. That's another big fear for many entrepreneurs I know. You work with lots of entrepreneurs. What would be your top tip for creating a successful online business?
I didn't know that I was working with entrepreneurs with the FWA as much until you actually have to do programming. In my day job, not so much, right? So a top tip on being successful, you said? Sorry.
Yes, online success for entrepreneurs.
Online success. You got to be your authentic self. That is key. Everybody is unique, I guess, is the way I'm trying to paraphrase it. So you want to make sure that whatever you're going to do, as I mentioned before, be it a widget, product, or service, that it's different from what others have, and it shows you in it or through it, right? So I guess that would be my top tip.
Fantastic. Thank you. That's a really, really great tip. So we're coming to the end of our time together. What's the best way for our listeners and our viewers to find out more about you and the work you're doing with FWA?
Well, FWA's website is, of course, www.fwa.org. Again, fwa.org is how they can reach the organization. And, of course, you'll see my picture and other accolades that the organization has been doing with me and by itself there. To find me, I guess everybody's on social media, not me so much, but LinkedIn is definitely another place that I definitely have a profile. So
brilliant.
Those are the two that I would recommend.
That's great. We'll put the links up when we put out this call. And thank you so much, Nina, for sharing your wisdom around mindset and being an entrepreneur and what it takes to have the success that we want. Really, really enjoyed talking to you. And thank you, everyone who's joined us on this call. Really love your company. Until next time, bye-bye for now.
Thank you, Nina.